Welcome to Crafty Hints. I'm Chantel. If you're new here and came over from the challenge, welcome. And to my subscribers, you know I appreciate you. Please leave a comment and tell me what you thought about this project. So I took part in this DIY challenge with Moom Das and Sandra from the Showman's Nest. So the challenge was to make something old new again, kind of a trash to treasure sort of thing. And I have had this tray laying around for the longest time. Well, this challenge definitely pushed me to do something, and honestly, I started out with one idea and ended up going in a whole nother direction. So I started out with that hazelnut from Waverly, and on my Cricut, I made this grateful stencil sticker. Now, I thought I was going to go at a diagonal, so I really painted the diagonal darker, but then I decided I'm going to put that in the middle. So I went about painting the rest of the tray white. It's actually ivory. It's Waverly chalk paint in ivory. So I just went over that, and you're not going to have to be precise, as I kind of wanted it to look a little bit aged. So I went over this with white and just continued around trying to get in all of the nooks and crannies. I've sped this up a bit, as you know, no one wants to just sit and watch paint dry. So then I went and I measured. So inside the handles was 4 inches, and I knew the handles were, in the middle of the tray. So I'm just going to mark that on the tray so that I know where to apply the stencil. Now, this stencil decal that I have, I could have kept the outside, so kept the sticker part separate and just kept the inside and used it as a real stencil. But I'm going to show you a technique that I actually did in my last video, but I really like how it turns out. So I will just apply this here and just make sure it's centered. I tried to trust my eye, and I should have just stayed with my stickers and went with that. So I just made it about 2.5 inches from each side. And then I'm just going to rub it down and take off my other markers there. Just use my tool here to just give it a good rub down. And actually that transfer tape that I use is actually the clear contact paper from the Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to take my sponge brush and I'm just tapping down. This is going to help push down the stencil to make sure that the paint doesn't get underneath. So I just continue to tap down and put one layer across that. And I've decided that I will paint the whole bottom of this white as well, and then just give it a more distressed look. I wasn't sure if I was going to leave some of the gray peeking through, and I end up deciding, nope, I want it all ivory. So I tried to cover it up the best I could. It doesn't have to be perfect though. As I said, this tray is going to have a little bit of an age effect to it. And I did get a little bit carried away. I should have done 2 thinner coats. So learn from my mistake, give it 2 thinner coats to get over that gray. But now I'm going to take my hazelnut on a chip brush, and I'm just barely getting some on the bristles, and then I'm tapping it off. And now I'm just going across it with the grain. This is going to give it that age effect, a little bit of, where the paint would wear off. If you're enjoying this video, I do hope that you'll like it and subscribe. And just continue that around the tray. You especially want some on the edges, so get in the corners, get on the sides. just making sure it gives it that little bit of a weird look. Now, as I go across it, you can kind of see it looks like that wood grain. You can also take your sandpaper. As you'll see, there's my sanding block. So I just kind of went on some edges, roughed it up so it just wasn't so nice and smooth. All right. Now, just going to remove that stencil. So I took my weeding tool and I just start removing that sticker. You could also use the repositionable vinyl. That would probably work pretty well. You could use stickers as I showed in my last video. I'll link that video here so you can see how I did the Valentine blocks with this same technique. And there is a little spot just above Grateful that I go back and give it a little bit of a sand and fixed up a little bit, but you don't want that Grateful too perfect with the rest distressed, so I just took my sandpaper over it. And now I'm going to take some of this Nautical rope and I'm just going to take my hot glue, and I think that there would have been a much easier way of me doing this than passing through my whole bundle of rope, but live and learn. Yep, a much easier way, I am sure, but that's all right. So I just take this and give it a little bit of glue with each rung that goes around. Okay, also don't forget to stop by Moom and Sandra's channels. They both do some amazing DIYs. You'll want to take a look at their channels. There's also going to be a really nice playlist below of others that did a flip just like I did. These challenges are so much fun. Now, as you can see, I'm just continuing to wind this around, add a little bit of hot glue. All right, we're getting there. We just flip it around, give you a little bit of a better view. I did mention there's a playlist below, right? Many more crafters. So you hit the jackpot with this video because you will get so many great ideas for thrift store flips. So you may not find the exact item that people use in their videos, but it'll give you an idea, or maybe you'll just go on the hunt for an item like this. It's just a great way to give things a new life. Now, if I wanted to use this tray, I would just put a sealer over the top of this paint. It will probably be just a little more decorative in my home, so I didn't seal it at this time, but I might just, put a spray matte sealer on it just to be safe. And that's all there is to that rope. Pretty easy, right? Well, I'm sure you'll find another tip. I found this silicone mask applicator, so I wanted to show you that. It's just from the Dollar Tree. I've seen other crafters use them and just saw them at my Dollar Tree again. So I wanted to show you how that tool works. Definitely saves your fingers a bit. And that's both sides. This is done. Didn't it turn out cute? I really do like this one. All right, let me know in the comments below what you think.